projects without this in here, and then we did a look at projects with this in, how that would actually change.
Mr. Chairman, Delegate Reed, I think one of the things we discussed with Delegate Brewer today is many of these measures, safety, congestion, economic development, we have the ability to analyze a before and after condition. A primary evacuation route is simply a yes or no question.
But you are, the position is you all are officially neutral, you're not officially.
That is correct, sir.
Delegate Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Delegate Brewer, can you at least just give a few words as to the sort of evacuation routes and why this is necessary for the Hampton Roads area in particular?
Very specifically, if you are evacuating Hampton Roads region, and some of you are from that region, in some of the tunnels will shut down at a certain point, obviously because of flooding issues. There are some bridges that will shut down for wind restrictions. So the Southern Hampton Roads corridor, vehicles are going to be traveling routes 10, 58, 460, if they can cross the bridge, up to 64. And so everybody from Norfolk, Virginia Beach, Chesapeake, Portsmouth, Norfolk, on that side of the water will be going essentially through up towards the 95 corridor out towards Bridgeland, most likely.
I have a question. So, don't we somehow measure this already in Smart Scale with like travel time reliability?
Mr. Chairman, so the,
Yes.
sorry, you were pointing at me,
Yes,
so I apologize if I
yes.
spoke when I shut up.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, so today we do measure vehicle hours of delay, person throughput, travel time reliability, incidents, and other things of that nature, yes.
Related to weather events like she's referring?
The travel time reliability would take that into account to a certain extent. I do not believe the delay one necessarily takes that into account.
We would have to know.
Go ahead.
We have not had a direct hit of a hurricane in quite some time, so it would be difficult to answer.
If I could perhaps, I'm co-patron of this bill, and speak to Delegate Jones' question and answer. The last time our area got hit by a major Category 3 or above hurricane was in 1933. Statistically, we've been due for another one since the early 90s. So literally every year we dodge a bullet. Every fall, our region dodges a bullet. When our region got hit by a 33 hurricane, it was then called Princess Anne County. We had a population of 33,000 people. There's 9 feet of water on Granby Street. So statistically, every year we are due for one. We are the single most vulnerable area in the entire country to a Category 3 or above hurricane strike. We are actually in a worse position than New Orleans was prior to Katrina. If you all remember what happened in Katrina, part of the nightmare in that situation was the emergency evacuation valves were an utter, complete disaster in that state. So we know statistically it is not a matter of if, it is a matter of when. We are going to get hit again. It is going to be catastrophic when we do. And I think it is absolutely critical. My understanding is Northern Virginia benefits from this as well. But I think this is a really, really smart piece of legislation to make it a priority, and wholeheartedly support the bill.
Delegate Davis.
Mr. Chairman, in conjunction with that, on Virginia Beach City Council, we looked at the evacuation routes, and honestly, what we tell our citizens today in Virginia Beach is you are not evacuating. We call it shelter in place. If there is a Category 3, Category 4 hurricane, God forbid, our status and our position in Virginia Beach is not go try to evacuate. We know the roads trying to get out of there will not do it. We know that the tunnel will be closed. I think it's a Category 2 that's going to shut down the tunnel, if not a low-level Category 3. So what we told our citizens is to shelter in place, and we can all imagine, something comes through like Katrina where they at least have a chance to get out in our area. There is no chance. We're saying just say your prayers and, God bless you. So this is very important for our area.
And one last note for the committee to note is that, sorry,
No problem.
this is a national defense issue, national security issue. We are about to go through another round of BRAC. Military spending in our region is 40% of our region's GDP alone by itself. That has consistently been rated in every single BRAC report. The fact that the ability to evacuate Hampton Roads, really it's at a critical juncture. So I absolutely think this is, and again, applaud the patron for bringing this bill.
So I'm looking at Smart Scale, strategy, economic development, how travel time reliability, the buffer index. Are you familiar with this?
Yes, sir.
And so weather does take into account frequency of weather events, snow and flooding value, weather impact, effectiveness on the project to reduce impact of weather events. So is it part of Smart Scale that we're already evaluating or not?
Yeah, under travel time reliability, that is one of the items that's evaluated.
Okay. All right.
May I ask a question?
Delegate Davis.
When we do that, do we take into account the severe impact of the weather situation? So I'll give you an example. If it's terrible weather, you know, sleet, rain, hail, and people are driving, there's no loss of life potentially, maybe minimal, and it's a significant inconvenience, and that should rate X, right? If it's a category 3, significant loss of life, no one's evacuating. So to what extent do you evaluate extreme weather conditions like a category 3, category 4 hurricane when you look at this?
Delegate Davis, I would say that we look at the things that have taken place over the past several years, and that is what would be considered in the evaluation.
Okay, thank you.
Delegate Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, Secretary Downey. Do you also look at flooding? I mean, is that something that comes into it? I know we talk a lot about hurricanes, but I think the folks from down in our area understand that our roads will flood even on a sunny day. We have coastal flooding, tidal flooding, and then if it rains, it's even worse.
Mr. Chairman, Delegate Jones, so the Smart Scale process is really, it's not the only transportation program that exists. It is the one that is there to expand the capacity of the system, and so it is focused on the degree to which, if you wish to widen a road, build a new road, or do something else, it would provide benefits. It does not cover the maintenance program or safety good repair programs.
But it does take into, because there are weather events which include snow and flooding. Right.
Mr. Chairman, it does take into weather events. I do not want to say 100% definitively that flooding is taken into account, because then there's a chance it could be wrong.
All right, any other questions? We got a full one. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, it sounds like we're approaching a vote. If there is consensus around what sounds like a very good idea to pass this through, I'll be voting no, only to bring it to a well-rounded discussion and a full committee. I think it warrants that, given the significance of the bill and the proposal, which is, again, I very much agree with. Thank you.
Gotcha.
I'm going to abstain for doing this.
You will.
All right, this committee works on motions.
Second.
As amended.
Got it.
We have a motion and a second to report this bill as amended.
I'm touching my button.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. The bill carries 6-2. I'll be a poll.
So what?
Yeah, I was suggesting it.
Thank you.
All right. All right, Delegate Ferris's bill is next, but he has asked for that bill to go by for the day. So, all in favor of that bill going by for the day? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry, with Delegate Ferris, since he's chairman of another committee that is meeting and dealing with some lengthy stuff, do you think we're gonna have time to hear, is it next week or last?
He's asked me, yeah, he's asked me for it to go by.
To keep it in the same subcommittee, okay.
Yes.
I just I didn't know if we wanted to try, yes, sir, thank you,
Yep.
I'm trying to help
Okay.
out.
Douglas Austin, 2183.
Members Chairman, members of the committee, ladies and gentlemen,
I think you have a substitute.
I do. I have House Bill 2183 with an amendment in nature for substitute.
Tell us about your substitute. Actually,
We'll miss you.
does everybody have a substitute right now? Bob's posting it, so we'll pause a moment until he does that.
You?
Nicole, I'm gonna let Nicole explain the substitute. She and when you're ready. She and the commissioner negotiated this substitute, so. Yeah, let me give you a brief explanation.
Yeah, it's posted, so go ahead, Delegate Austin.
When you're ready, House Bill 2183 is a commercial vehicle training and testing bill. It allows certain Class A drivers training schools to be third-party testers for the skills test component of the commercial driver's license. The visual and the physical examination will be by the DMV. But this will allow third-party testing, so we can expedite CDL testing.
Mr. Chairman,
Anybody here speaking in favor of the bill?
Nicole Renner, Reed Smith, on behalf of the Commercial Vehicle Training State Association, I thank Delegate Austin for putting in the bill, and the Commissioner for working with us on the substitute. Like Delegate Austin said, this will authorize driver training schools to test their students for CDL testing. The substitute does four main things. When driver training schools apply to be third-party testers, those applications will be annual. It would be employer requirement for employers testing their own employees from 75 down to 50 to encourage more employers to do this to help with the backlog. Adds an additional reporting requirement on DMV that's in the enactment clause, and says that if the commissioner finds anything that would be grounds for revocation or cancellation of the third-party testing license during the application process, then he doesn't have to approve that license. When the federal regulations changed in 2015, Virginia had 40 testing sites for CDL testing, and now we have 9 for Class A testing. So there's a significant backlog as a result of those changes at the federal level, and thank the EMP for working with us, and Don LaFave with the president of CBTA is here as well if there's any industry questions that I can answer.
I know this is a problem that the Commonwealth is suffering from, and this certainly will help. So, anybody else to speak in favor of the bill?
Mr. Chairman, Rick Holm, DMV Commissioner. While we have no formal position, we want to thank the patron for allowing us to have some input. There's some very good changes were made. I agree with Nicole that this absolutely will move the ball forward and give us the assistance that we need to try to reduce the wait time on skills tests.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Anyone else to speak in favor of the bill? Anyone here opposed to this fine piece of legislation? Any questions from the committee? We have a motion to report.
Second.
With substitution. We have a second. Please indicate on your voting tablet. All right, the bill reports.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Delegate Austin, for bringing such a great piece of legislation to the committee.
You're very welcome.
You're making a true difference. All right. Delegate Hodges?
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr.
Yeah, no,
Chairman,
you're
members of the committee. There is an amendment in nature of substitute.
Let's give Bob a chance to post that. And distribute everybody here.
Done.
All right, Don, tell us about your bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. As delegates, as legislators, how many of us have all received a call from a constituent to get involved in a VDOT issue and try to help that constituent navigate through that process? Countless times. So what, when a site plan is submitted, VDOT gets, of course, a bite of the apple, comes back, comments, and it turns into a negotiation. And it's back and forth and back and forth and back and forth, and it should be a negotiation. Somehow up front, these folks, there should be more transparency in the process, number one, but let's give those minimum standards up front, which is basically all this bill does. The amendment and actually, the original bill to develop an appeals process, but there is already an appeals process. I did not even realize that. There's an appeals process that you could go through and to just send that signal that the appeals process, it should be in accordance with the regulations that are already in place. That's pretty much the bill. And it says that the Commissioner of Highways shall require that any official who approves any highway access project shall certify that he has applied due diligence in approving such project and that such approval is, in his professional opinion, consistent with the minimum standards relevant pursuant to this section. Fairly simple.
Anyone here to speak in favor of the bill?
Robert Crockett with the Middle Peninsula Planning District Commission, and appreciate the page for bringing the bill forward.
opposition to this piece of legislation? VDOT?
Mr. Chair, while we can't take official opinion or position on the bill, we have no issues at this point.
Any questions from the committee? Delegate Larock?
So, to the patron, would it be somewhat accurate to say that this codifies an existing practice?
It's not an existing practice. That's the problem, the existing practice is, somewhere there, what are those minimum standards? So when an engineer from VDOT is reviewing that plan, and the developer has submitted that plan, VDOT oftentimes comes back with, wants the sky. And often wants that developer to pay and do things that they shouldn't have to do. And it turns into a negotiation, and it's scaled back much farther. I can give you numerous examples. Just in my district, I actually turned a $200,000 turn lane by getting involved into just monitoring the traffic into an entrance. For 80 parking places at that were being added to a facility. It would have been a $200,000 turn lane initially. Said, no, we don't need to do that. We can do it another way. And all we need to do is monitor the traffic. Those minimum standards should have been given up front, and it saved this business $200,000. That's all we're asking.
There's a report.
Motion to approve. We have a second. As substituted.
Yes.
We have a second.
Thank you.
Please, can we get your votes? Your vote passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
6-0.
Another well-run meeting.